This is Dr. Bonnie Wozolek joining you here with Dr. Reagan Patrick Mitchell, independent scholar, to think today about curriculum theorizing with us. And so, Dr. Mitchell, could you please tell me very briefly, how would you define curriculum studies?
When I talk about curriculum studies, I think of it very much as to always shout out Michelle Wright. It's a very much an epiphenomenal engagement, right? And once again, Michelle Wright, she says so beautiful, the past, present, and future is all as realized as the always as is now, right? So that's the other part. The curriculum studies is always for me, and it's necessary for it to be an aspirational project, right? A project of radical dreaming as a way of rethinking and thinking about the possibilities of what equity creation means, and especially not in the context of and thinking about that diasporically, thinking about that historically, thinking about that ancestrally, but also thinking about like that how that once again is also simultaneously a futuristic, surrealistic engagement as well. So,
Thank you. And can you talk very briefly about your contributions to the field?
oh man. You know, Dr. Wozolek, as you know, that's a very challenging thing for me that struggles with, I struggle with that. I also want to say like as somebody that is like a profound admirer of you and your work, um, that that's a hard one. I will say like perhaps, I think some of my what my contributions might be once again is in a way of um emboldening 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 the ways in which we talk about sonic context, how we talk about the possibility of how we think about sound, and overall sort of how our sensoriums inform, right? Thinking about these things like what really like turns me on, what really gets me, what really like excites me. And I'm gonna say like unapologetically, it is blackness and queerness, right? And so very much think it's from these standpoints where I think about like how we think about what it is to think about Black queer knowledge doing, right? And the research. And so doing that research as well. What does it mean when we sort of think about very much this sense of like how we talk about ancestors, right? Because I often talk about thinking about ancestral communing and everything. Why? Because I think that's very much, if we talk about sort of from a curriculum study standpoint, it's something in which um, it's been very much a lived experience for me. But also this whole idea, it really helps also begin to think about this idea of how distance narratives gets constructed, right? Because in many ways, I've also heard people talk about this idea of ancestry. The ancestors is something that's far off and untouchable rather than something there are people who live with us and commune with us in many ways, which gets me into very much a way of talking about what thinking about like why we talk about sensorium.
Well, if you could tell us just one thing that you hope for the future of the field, what would it be?
Once again, it's always important to think about like OGs like Bill Doll, right? Or Pinar, right? But also think about the OGs like Cynthia Dillard as well, or Cameron McCarthy, right? Or Aoki, right? And part of the thing that's always, and I get so excited talking about these because I had or once again Janet Miller, come on, right? Our dear sister Janet Miller. Um, One of the things that always amazes me was like they were always curious about ideas. Have, they never did fall out of love with big ideas. They were always curious, right? I think it's that curiosity. And also, I add another one is I think also it's sort of um, a continuation of that generosity and that blessing. that they are, but also thinking about what this field is. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. So apologies. I went beyond one.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. We're going to wrap it up. And as you all know, you can catch Dr. Mitchell's work online. I'll make sure that I post their work that is to make it available to you all. All right. Thank you very much. Much
All
love
right.
to you.
Peace, peace.